Is it in sync? Am I in sync yet? I do not know what is going on with my camera. I apologize. I have also tried to record and get through this little review multiple times, but things just my camera's not working with me, like my timer isn't working with me. It's just we're going to get through it, right? Woo! It's the curse of Sarah Fear. Woo! It's not, but also final spoiler warning, spoiler warning, spoiler warning, spoiler warning for Fear Street Part 3, 1666. I'm going to be talking about it. I am not going to be reading through the Wikipedia page like I did with the previous two reviews, but I am going to be spoiling it. So, spoiler warning for Fear Street Part 3. Go watch it. It's great. Hey folks, Princess Davy here. Like I said, or possibly didn't say in the intro, this review has been kind of messy. I've been all over the place. I thought I was recording, but I guess I wasn't. I don't know if it's blurry or if it's just me, if it's the face mask that I did that's in my eyes or on the camera now. I'm a mess, but I'm here to talk about Fear Street Part 3, 1666. Because honestly, it was so good. It was so good. It's honestly my favorite part of the trilogy, and it was just so. It was so good. It was a great conclusion to the trilogy, but also its own movie, which is great. So if you're not too familiar with what Fear Street Part 3 1666 is, you're someone who watches reviews before you watch the movie, Fear Street Part 3 1666 is a 2021 American supernatural horror film, then the final installment of the Fear Street trilogy after Part 1, 1994, and Part 2, 1978. Sorry, I paused there. It is based on the book series of the same name by R.L. Stine. The film follows the origins of Shadyside's curse in the mid-17th century, Sarah Fear's witch trial, and the survivors in 1994 who try to put an end to it all. So, yeah, like I said, it's a really good movie that's like a timepiece, like a time period piece set in the 1600s, and then also it takes us back to 1994 and wraps up the entire story that we have seen evolve or unfold within the past three movies, which is the first two movies. You don't really necessarily have to watch the other ones to enjoy. You can just watch it, and they're really good horror movies in and of themselves. There might not be an actual conclusion to the first one. You get some story wrap ups for each part one and part two, but there's still this overarching narrative that's still left a mystery. With part three, though, you definitely need to watch part one. To enjoy it to its fullest extent, part one needs to be watched, because not only do you go back to 1994 to revisit those characters and those places to wrap up the whole story, but a lot of the characters that you saw in part one come back, and part two they come back because I think like I said in one of the reviews, these spirits, these souls, not only exist in Shadyside, but they are part linked to the curse that Sarah Fear has enacted, or that so we believe. We find out it's the freaking cops. It's the cop. It's the good. Nick Good or whatever his name is, Good, Sheriff Good. It was them all along. It was the Good family all along. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. I'm like I said, I'm not gonna read through the plot from the Wikipedia page, but the story goes that after Dina connects the hand back to the body of Seraphir and kind of reburies the body, she sees the vision of what happened in 1666. And it was pretty fucked up. So Sarah Fear and her friends, they went to a party. They meet with a reclusive widow. Sarah finds this black book of dark magic and stuff like that. And then while they're at this party, her and her friend Hannah, who she's kind of seeing or in love with, they kind of get harassed by this jerk named Caleb, who they kind of turn away and call out and make fun of. And then the next day, Pastor Miller starts acting strange, and he is the father to Hannah. And then they find Sarah's dog in the well, so a bunch of weird shit starts happening. And then Sarah is nearly killed by Pastor Miller before he himself is killed by Solomon. Oh, Sorry, skipped ahead of myself. See, like I didn't want to read through the Wikipedia page, but like so, like I said, the pastor is acting crazy. He kidnaps a bunch of kids and then kills them. He almost killed Sarah herself, but sorry, I need a drink. Ooh, got that monster. Oh, okay. So after the pastor kills a bunch of kids, they have like a town meeting, and because of the dude earlier, Caleb, because he was rejected by Sarah and Hannah, he kind of is like they're witches. And then a bunch of other people just come forward and say it's witches. They start blaming them for all the bad that has been happening in their town. There's a bunch of other shit that has been happening, like the water, aside from the water, like the fruit and the growth and all that stuff. Just bad shit has been happening in the town. They want to find a scapegoat, so they blame these two women, these two girls, these two young girls, and the whole town essentially turns on them, and they start literally freaking witch hunting these girls. Hannah helps Sarah flee, and they catch her. They end up, capturing Sarah after she tries to hide. She ends up finding that Solomon, the one that was like helping her previously, was actually a bad guy. He was the one who was enacting the curse and trying to get immortality and bringing the bad to the to the town. And then he uses their fear of them and them calling them witches to like kind of seal the deal and be like, yeah, you know what, you're my scapegoat now. And they end up hanging Sarah Fear. She sacrifices herself and says, I cursed Hannah. I did it. Like, because she doesn't want Hannah to die. They're in love, which is really touching and beautiful, and I freaking love it. But like she says that she sacrificed herself, and then she gets hung, and we find out that it was like all a cover up. Like the whole thing was a fucking cover up, and it's like, damn, mind blowing, great twist. Like, I mean, I don't want to say I suspected it, but like with a name like Nick Good or Sheriff Good or Officer Good, whatever, it's just like, that's a little on the nose there. But after the vision ends, okay, we're brought back to 1994. Dina knows now that it's the Good family that has been carrying on the curse and been sacrificing shady side teens so that people in Sunnyvale can have a great life. So it's really even more like the added layer of fucked upness, like, so all the things that have been all this shitty, really shitty shit, not to say all the bad, but the extremely bad, like the murders and like all those crazy shit that's been going on in Shadyside has been because of this curse that someone from Sunnyvale has been enacting. So Dina and them enact a plan. Oh my gosh, what is going on with my throat? Like, seriously? Like, if it's not the camera, it's like me. I may have that air conditioning too high, 'cause my skin and throat are dry. Could also be all the singing and laughing. But anyways, apologies. Dina and them devise a plan. She's got Ziggy, the survivor from part 2, helping her and her brother, helping her to lure all of the killers to come back and lure Officer Nick to the mall so that they can kind of finish this curse once and for all. Like, kill Officer Good, and that's the way they can destroy this curse. Stop this curse once and for all. Stop the person who has been enacting it for all these years. And it's a great plan, because they use like super soakers and like magical blood. They carry Officer Good, and it's just like they have like a killer fight at one point. I'm like, killer fight! Like, I hope if Dead Meat does like a kill count for it, that they do that, like they say, it's a killer fight! Oh! Because I don't know, it's a great scene that unfolds in the mall. The whole lead up, the whole conclusion to the characters 1994's start, and even Ziggy's storyline is great. Like, again, seeing all the killers come back, and then seeing them fight, and then seeing them, our heroes, stand up for themselves and fight and succeed, as opposed to part 1 and part 2, them succeeding and killing these killers, and like fucking killing Officer Good, who has been doing a bunch of shitty shit this entire time. Like, all the spray paint was him, all the it's been him all along. So it was a really good wrap up. And I love that we go back to 1994, because then we get more awesome music from the 90s playing in the background. So it's definitely a freaking good movie. I wish it could have been a series, and I honestly hope that they go back and revisit more of the Fear Street series, or do more Fear Street movies in the future, because like I said, and I think in the first one, there are so many different Fear Street stories. There's like Fear Street Saga, Fear Street Chronicles, or stuff like that, that they could really revisit this storyline. And again, there's all those killers that they introduced, and some of them that they didn't even show in the 1994 and 1990 or 1978, right? And like all leading up to that. So they could definitely go back and visit Fear Street at some point in time, and I hope they do. And I hope you enjoyed this review. That's it. I'm done. I'm gonna go before my throat decides to start messing up. There it goes. I can feel it. Like, yep. I'm done. But legit, I hope you had fun. Let me know what you thought of the Fear Street trilogy. Let me know what you think of these reviews. Like, do you want me to do the face mask? Do you want me to read the Wikipedia page? I kind of mixed it up with each review for this trilogy to give you a little bit differentness in each one, but still the same thing. I don't know, trying different things. But yes, hope you enjoyed. I am going to be moving some of my reviews and videos to my Patreon, so if you haven't subscribed to my Patreon, please check it out. It is only $4.99 a month, and you get access to videos, short stories, artwork. It definitely helps support me and this channel and my other works out there. You should definitely check out all my links down below. But please, definitely, if you enjoyed Fear Street and you like reading, I have a book out on Wattpad. Okay, I'm done. I'm like taking up your time. You're like, dude, shut up. Also, like and subscribe. Okay, now I'm really done.